Alright, what are two variables which might account for John's dataset showing less minutes than Mike's? This is your question here. Unfortunately, because of the program I'm in, I can't show you the datasets, but you have it in front of you and you should have been using your test as you go along. So if you look at the datasets, Mike has a dataset, and that's how long the batteries lasted for him, and John has a dataset, how long each specific battery lasted for John. They're different. Now, it doesn't really make sense that they would have different data sets because they're both using the same type of batteries. So what I'm asking you is to do a little bit of thinking here and figure out what would be some possible reasons that they could have different data sets. Well, I've wrote for a couple of answers here for you, and by no means is this all the answers that there could be. But think about this. Maybe one of them is first player, and when you're first player in a video game, a lot of times you set up everything, so you would be using the remote more. Maybe John presses harder than Mike on the remote, or he's swinging the remote a lot more around, which might take more batteries. Quite possibly, the batteries could have been a little bit older. Maybe they were bought a while ago, or maybe when they were bought from a store and they were the last pack that was from 2 or 3 years ago and they lost a little bit of their juice. Maybe there's a defect in the remote. Maybe John's little brother was playing with one of the Wii remotes that morning and threw it and it kind of busted a little bit and the batteries died quicker. These are all possible variables that might have messed up the experiment. A little bit of thinking and I think you guys could have gotten it pretty easily. Alright, the next one we're going to do is 29. It coincides with the whole battery thing, so we're going to do both of these. What can you conclude about batteries from this experiment? I can't really think of anyone that missed this one, but just in case, you can conclude that Duracell gets you the best, um, that you can conclude that Duracell gets you the most amount of energy because Duracell lasted the longest in both tries for Mike and for John. That's all really I was asking for. What can you conclude? You can conclude that his hypothesis was right because remember earlier he guessed that Duracell would last the longest because it was the most expensive. So you could conclude that his hypothesis was right or that Duracell lasts the longest. I would have taken any of that. That was not a very difficult question.